All right, everyone, welcome back. Ready for another deep dive?
Always ready.
Perfect, because today we're tackling something that I know can feel a little overwhelming, to say the least.
Uh-oh, what's that?
Well, we're talking about life insurance,
Okay.
but specifically when you're dealing with atrial fibrillation.
I see where this is going.
Yeah, it's one of those things that nobody really wants to think about, right? Like dealing with a medical condition is tough enough.
Right.
But then you add in the whole financial planning layer, and it can feel like you're just drowning in complications.
Yeah, I get that.
So our mission today is to make it all a little bit easier to digest. We've got a great starting point for our deep dive.
Oh, yeah? What is it?
It's a piece from Diversified insurance brokers. They're specialists in this whole area of, pre-existing conditions and life insurance, so they really know their stuff.
All right, that sounds promising.
Okay, so first things first, let's make sure everyone's on the same page about what AFib actually is.
Sure.
Besides just a scary-sounding acronym.
Mm.
Because before we even get to the insurance side of things, we need to understand what's going on with the heart, right?
Absolutely.
So in super simple terms, what are we talking about when we say atrial fibrillation?
It's interesting because a lot of people, when they hear AFib, they immediately think heart attack.
Yeah, understandable.
But it's actually a bit different. Think of it this way. With a heart attack, you've got a blocked artery, right? Like a plumbing problem.
Okay.
But AFib is more of an electrical problem.
Okay.
It's all about the rhythm. So basically, the signals in your heart get kind of messed up. And the top chambers, those are called the atria, they basically just quiver instead of beating the way they should.
So not exactly a blocked pipe, but more like, I don't know, cross wires or something.
Yeah, exactly.
And while it's definitely something to be taken seriously, you're saying it's not an instant game over situation.
Not at all. With the right treatment, lots of people with AFib live totally normal lives. It's manageable.
Okay, that's reassuring. But I bet the question on everyone's mind is, okay, I have AFib. Does this mean I can kiss life insurance? Goodbye.
You're reading my mind. That's usually the first thing people worry about.
Right, because you automatically assume, oh, pre-existing condition, insurance companies are going to run for the hills.
Exactly. And to be honest, it's not entirely unfounded. I mean, AFib will definitely be something insurers pay attention to.
Yeah.
But it's not an automatic disqualification. It's not like you get slapped with a big rejected stamp the second they see it on your medical history.
Okay, so there's hope.
There's absolutely hope. But here's the thing. You've got to understand how they're looking at your situation. And that's what we're going to unpack.
Yeah, because I'm looking at this list from Diversified, and they lay out all these factors that insurers consider.
Oh, yeah, it can feel a little intimidating.
It is. Like, how often does your AFib act up? How severe are your episodes? What medications are you on? Have you had any strokes related to it? It was on and on.
It's a lot to take in. But think of it this way. They're like detectives, right? Gathering clues.
Detectives.
Yeah, they're trying to put together a picture of how well managed your AFib is. Each factor gives them a piece of the puzzle. So for instance, let's say your meds are doing a good job keeping things under control and you only have occasional minor episodes. That paints a much different picture than someone who's constantly struggling with severe episodes and nothing seems to help. They want to see stability.
So it's all about proving you're on top of it, basically.
Exactly.
But here's what I'm thinking. Even if things are going well right now, isn't there always that chance that AFib could suddenly take a turn for the worse?
That's true. That's always a possibility.
That must make insurance companies super nervous, right?
Well, yeah, and that's why they look at the long game. The longer you've been successfully managing your AFib, the more comfortable they are. It shows a track record.
I see. So it's about consistency. And probably, just a hunch, following your doctor's recommendations to the letter.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, we're not giving medical advice here, but I think it's pretty obvious that taking care of yourself and proactively managing your health is going to make a huge difference.
Makes sense. So basically, the more you can prove you're on top of things, the better your odds of getting a good deal on life insurance.
You got it. And that actually brings us to the different types of life insurance policies, which is what Diversified breaks down really well.
Oh, right. They mentioned a few. I think there was a fully underwritten, simplified issue, and guaranteed issue.
You got it. Those are the big three.
Okay, so let's break those down for our listeners who maybe are hearing these terms for the first time. What's the deal with each one?
All right, so picture this. Fully underwritten is like the VIP experience. You get the best rates potentially, but there's a catch.
Got to be a catch.
You have to go through a full medical exam, answer every health question they throw at you, total transparency.
Makes sense. They're really scrutinizing your situation.
Yep, they're doing a deep dive. Then you've got simplified issue, which is more like the express lane.
Okay, faster.
Exactly, but you might pay a little extra for that convenience. You skip the full medical exam, but you still answer some health questions.
So a little less scrutiny.
Exactly. And finally, there's guaranteed issue. Think of it as the no questions asked option.
Oh, interesting.
You're in no matter what your health situation looks like.
That's got to be reassuring for some people.
Oh, absolutely. But the trade-off is you'll probably be paying higher premiums for that guaranteed acceptance.
Okay, so it's all about balancing what's most important to you. The peace of mind of knowing you're covered no matter what, versus maybe paying a little less but having to jump through some hoops.
Exactly. It's a trade-off.
You know, it's funny, you mentioned that fully underwritten could have the best rates, but only if you qualify. That might actually encourage people with AFib to be even more proactive about managing their condition, right? Knowing that there's a potential reward waiting for them.
Absolutely. It's like built-in motivation to take control of your health. And speaking of which, that's why working with an experienced broker is so crucial in these situations.
Right. Our friends at Diversified really stressed that too. They were adamant about finding a broker who specializes in these kinds of cases. But why? What makes it so different from just going to any random insurance agent?
Let me ask you this. If you needed your car repaired,
Oh,
would you take, let's say, a Ferrari to just any old mechanic?
probably not.
You'd want someone who really knows the ins and outs of that specific type of car, right?
Makes sense.
It's the same with life insurance when you got AFib. A specialized broker speaks the language of insurance companies. They know which ones are more lenient towards certain conditions. They can really navigate all the complexities to get you the best possible deal. You could potentially save yourself a ton of money and a lot of headaches.
So it's not just about getting a policy, it's about getting the right policy.
100%. And at a price you can actually afford.
That's the key. Well, we've covered a lot of ground today. For our listeners who are living with AFib, the big takeaway here is that getting life insurance isn't impossible.
Not at all.
But the details really, really matter. Knowing how your condition is assessed, finding a broker who knows their stuff, and most importantly, taking an active role in managing your health, those are all crucial pieces of the puzzle. This deep dive is all about empowering you guys. We're not giving you all the answers, but we're giving you the knowledge to ask the right questions.
Exactly.
Now, here's a final thought for you to chew on. Does this whole conversation make you think about life insurance a little differently? Maybe it's something to think about even before any health issues pop up.
Interesting.
Just something to ponder as you navigate all the twists and turns of life, right?
Yeah, food for thought.
Exactly.
I like it.
All right, thanks for joining us for another deep dive, everyone. We'll see you next time.
See